Hi guys, welcome back to Astrano's podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a few other chakras, but we're going to get started with the throat. So you could say that this is my biggest power. Well, Ernest, just kidding. Yeah.
It's good to own your power, girl. Yeah.
Some people have it open, some people have it shut, but we're just going to talk about how everyone can just open that thing up. Neff?
Gotta open it up. Yeah, guys. So I'm sure if you've seen our past podcast lately, we're going through each chakra all the way up the body, starting at the root and the earth star. So the throat is a big one on this planet because there's a lot of distortion in that chakra as well. And it's connected to a lot of the lower trauma, like lower chakras. The trauma's held in those ones as well. So it can get really tricky. And I'm sure like all of us have had at some point in our lives, some trauma is blocking up the throat or feeling like we can't fully express our true self. And this can be a really slippery slope with the throat chakra. So I've definitely I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum as Melania, and I've struggled a lot with my throat chakra. I've been in some pretty brutal places with the traumas that are in my throat chakra and below. So we're going to go into it all today. We're going to talk about all the wounds that you might find, the frequencies that are within the throat, and then like she said, how we can fully heal the throat, because it's so important, right, Becca? Because Becca is our sound healer, so she's got it all going.
Yeah, throat chakra, it's some pretty powerful stuff. We have to use our voices every single day, so to be mindful of what we're saying and how we're saying it, very, very important. I feel like my experience with the throat chakra is a bit in between your guys's. I've struggled a lot with it, but at the same time, I know I have a gift for being able to sing. So it's a huge power if you use it, like a superpower, if you can use it correctly. But that struggle of the perfect balance in your throat chakra, how do we get there? How do we unblock our throats?
Yeah, we could talk about the wounding first, I think.
Yeah. So there could be a lot of wounding that comes up just from ancestral trauma, being silenced. You could talk about, for example, the people that are the Aboriginals here that they wanted to completely remove their culture. Grace was talking, they is the government or, all of those other bad guys, but silencing them, taking their culture away and putting them into this little box, whatever, kind of fits the program at the time. So I know personally in my family, as immigrants, you don't always have you don't always have a voice here, language barriers, cultural barriers. I know Neff's family came here from Germany, but your family had a pretty different experience, the strength. You should talk about your granny, because she is a cool lady. Don't you think her, I think that her strength must be coming from somewhere like that.
Pretty crazy story. Yeah, she's a powerful woman. She also she's actually a great example of someone who is just has their throat chakra perfectly healed, because she will say what she needs to say, always in authenticity, in a loving way, but she's always going to say it. There is no holding back with her. And it's amazing. It's beautiful, because it's wow, you're saying the things that nobody else would probably say, and she's saying the things everybody needs to hear and stuff like that, even though she's been through so much trauma, she went through the war and stuff. So yeah, but yes, the ancestral, the persecution, right? we've all experienced persecution potentially in past lifetimes. And you're saying, these cultures, it's just devastating that they have been so silenced and just like buried, you know what I mean, behind all of like what they've built in front of these cultures, and it's so sad. So
how do we begin, guys, to heal the throat chakra? Like, what is your kind of practices, everyday practices, in order to, I don't know, kind of build it up or open it up, I guess would be the proper.
For me, singing is a huge one to open up the throat chakra. I believe personally that our throats were literally created for singing and humming and chanting, not for talking. Because if we were to go back way back before there's any record of anything, because I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, we would be seeing that there is a lot of chanting and music going on. That's culturally, we can see that, because humming heals your throat. It heals your body. You're literally letting off a healing frequency that you can create to heal yourself. How magical is that? That's so cool that we have that power to do that. Even just taking a breath and like whatever feels comfortable for you, and just let out like a and see how long you can hold it. Managing your breath and humming, it's so healing. I don't know, like what do you guys do?
Yeah, like, and I just wanted to say, like, yeah, like when you sing or speak or like tone, I think that like, yeah, like you can heal, your voice heals you more than anybody else's voice. You know what I mean? So if you can get that activated and like sing to yourself, or like light language, if you know how to do that, is so powerful. Or like Becca's saying, like tone, like it will just like collapse out density. Like it's so powerful. Like, because sound is like one of the, you know, 3 pillars of what the whole universe is made of. It's actually like the first one, right? And then, you know what I mean, comes like light and shape, right? Like geometry and light. So sound is a huge, like, I think that some people could maybe overlook that in like just like the density of our world, right? Like we get so numbed out to like how simple it could be to heal our bodies.
I feel like we all kind of get lost in how do I put this? We get lost in the idea of like what it is, like the throat chakra, and how healing it really can be. Every single word that you speak is so powerful. Everything that you're thinking is so powerful. We need to be mindful of these things that we're saying, because as you're speaking them, you're letting off a certain frequency, right? Before there was language, there was this feeling of a communication. Like I could be able to communicate with you and you knew what I was talking about, right? You could just sense that. Now we are so blocked with language to try and express our feelings. It's hard to do that. And I think that's also part of a part of the blockage, is like trying to get past that language barrier, if you will.
So interesting. This brings me into too how they created so many languages on our planet to separate us.
Exactly.
Right? Like that goes along with like the throat chakra too. Like they've done everything to separate and bury people, like cultures. And then there's why do we have so many languages? Like why don't we just have like one universal language so we can all communicate on this planet as like one, you know, humanity, one family. Right? It's all a part of the background game that's going on that like you need to pay attention to. So yeah. And I just wanted to read a couple of my notes here on like a few more of the like traumas that can be held in your throat chakra, just so you guys are aware. And then like we always mention, it's like great if you can take notes, like go into your own throat and like feel into the pains, like, oh, why is that there? Like what happened to that? And then write it in your journal so you can start like studying yourself, like we've talked about, right?
Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah, of course.
Also, in your throat chakra, if it's unbalanced, sometimes it'll be like a physical thing that'll manifest in your body. So if it's throat, you might have like a sore throat, shoulders, TMJ pain. These are all things that relate to having an imbalanced throat chakra as well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you want to mention too the imbalance of the talking and versus the not?
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
yes, because that's important too.
So normally when you think of a throat chakra being blocked, you think of that feeling of having something to say that you so passionately want to say, but you can't. It's almost like you're held back. So there's a block there. But it can also go in the other way of the imbalance of you speaking too much, gossiping, over talking when you actually should be listening. When you have a balanced throat chakra, you actually know how to listen and respond properly and with an authenticity, rather than just saying something to get something out there or just to be heard. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and that goes along with like it is so tricky because with the throat chakra, like Becca's saying, that we've like created so many false personalities through the traumas of growing up, right? Like, or through the pressures of just like society and, you know, popularity in school and all of these different dynamics that are going on, copying others, right? Like, and then not to mention, we don't even like spend time actually going within deep enough to like find who we are. So there are fake personalities. Like I even have struggled like tons with like fake personalities through my lifetime this, you know, time around. And it's like, it's rough. It's really painful also too, because you'll feel like, also it'll come down all the way to your heart if you have fake personalities and you don't know your sense of self or who you are. You'll feel emptiness within your heart space, which is really painful to feel. And that can be a symptom of fake personalities and not knowing the depth of who you are. So it's a tricky one. It just requires a lot of love and the inner like investigation, like we're talking about, to do the healing work. But yeah, like Becca was saying, like just reading a couple more of the traumas, you can have a lot of shame held within the throat, like intimately, okay? Intimate shame from the depth of our soul. Like this is from being so disconnected from our soul. Like it's such a deep pain, like Becca was saying, because we can't speak our true self. And that's like devastating to our soul. Like, because it is so important, like your words are rippling out into time and space, okay? Like always when you speak, and if you're speaking really like distorted geometry all around, it can really, really mess with just like, you know what I mean, the fields around you and yourself. And it's just painful. It's like, yes, we can heal all this stuff. Like, don't worry about it. We can heal it. But it's really painful for the soul. And yeah, like implants of persecution. So, and this is a really big one. So from the false matrix, they've like taught us to speak, like we're saying bullshit, like stuff that our soul doesn't want to say. Like I'm just talking about like, you know, fake personalities. And again, this creates so much distortion. And it creates dissonance, right? And it's just this like downward spiral that like takes you to the depths, you know? So being forced to say things that are not your soul, body, true desire, and frequency. This can happen in school because you're forced to study things that you don't want to study. You're forced to like go on stage and speak about projects that you really don't give a crap about. That's something that's against your soul resonance. So we're forced to do so many things in this life that cause us to speak in ways that are not authentic because we're working jobs or something that like we don't feel happy in. So it gets really deep.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is freaking wild to think about, because we're literally being trained. Yeah, trained not to be authentic. We literally have to like follow this script, and this is how you say it, and this is like what needs to be said with no depth. There's no depth to it at all.
Yeah.
You're not discovering yourself. You are literally wasting time. Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I'm creating so much pain, right? It's a lot of pain. And then the last thing with the throat that I've noticed is a lot of attacks for just like self-hatred, right? Like a self-hatred, if you have any like weird thoughts that come in, whether those are yours or coming from somewhere else, regardless, this self-hatred, if it's built up over time, can start to be stored in the throat chakra if you're not like holding a space of self-love and creating this connection with your soul so that you can start speaking authentically. It can get really blocked up, and that's what happened to me too. Like it was just like so much anxiety, so much trauma, like all balled up, that I eventually like couldn't even like it. I was like choking to death like pretty much every day, like even talking to, you know what I mean, my loved ones around me. It was like, whoa, like what is going on? Like I feel so like disconnected from the reality around me and myself. And it's so painful. And so, yeah, anxiety and all of that stuff can go along with the self-hatred, right? Like playing in your mind and then creating that block in the throat chakra. So, yeah, that brings us into like, how do we heal all these things, all these blockages, right? Like if you have that pain, like how do you heal that? And my biggest piece of advice, like I'm just saying, is like start with the opposite frequency to like self-hatred and like hold that, like, you know, start searching for your soul, like start searching for your authenticity. Okay. Like what's authentic to me? Let me meditate on that. Let me journal about that. Like, who am I truly? And it's a journey, because I'm still on that journey of like finding my true self and my true soul. And that emptiness that we feel, right? That doesn't just switch over like in, you know, a couple journaling sessions or a couple meditations. It's definitely a journey. But yeah, it's so fun to like discover who you truly are, especially coming from such a contrast of like being totally like in this like false, fake personality, reality, society, etc. So yeah, I just spend a lot of time healing yourself, spend a lot of time discovering and asking your soul to come into your body. Cause that's a big part of it, is like our souls can't come into our body. They're not even connected to us because there's no room in here, and we haven't been taught how to integrate our souls properly. But before the soul will even be able to come in, we have to do the healing work. So, but you can talk to your soul. You can ask your soul, like, I want to integrate you. Like, how do we do this together? I want to know who I truly am on these higher levels. Yeah.
I think that something that I like to do is not talk sometimes. So like keeping my power to myself. You know, we don't always have to be talking. Like imagine having a day to yourself where you just get to, you know, wander around in silence, and you don't have to be, you know, constantly using this energy for like nonsense, you know? But I definitely love to just talk, like call my higher self in, you know? How can I be better today? Like, how can I speak my truth? Because a lot of people, you know, they'll come in your lives. For me, if I'm not being honest, like, I feel like I'll die. Just like Neff was saying, like you just feel like you're choking. And so for me, that's something that I haven't struggled with, but a lot of people around me have struggled with it, like with me just being too opened. So be yourself, because, and yeah, you don't always have to talk too much. I love that. I love that. What's your practice, my lady?
Well, yeah, again, definitely singing and humming. But another thing is like positive affirmations are so powerful. I'll always go back to that because it's helped me so much to change my life, just noticing how I'm speaking and then like adding something. So I have like a couple affirmations here like that are good for your throat chakra. So I communicate confidently and with ease. I feel comfortable speaking my mind. I'm balanced in speaking and listening. I am an active listener. I speak my true thoughts with ease, and I set clear boundaries. So if you can like say these positive affirmations and repeat them, you're telling your throat, you know, I do have power. Like it's okay. You know, you can speak your truth. it's going to be fine. Yeah, I just think that's really, really powerful.
So how do you do this term like that?
Beautiful. Yeah, guys. So if you are struggling with the throat chakra, just like we've been saying, we do have a healing space for you guys. If you need support, if you want to be a part of a bunch of people doing active healing work every day and be motivated to get your healing work done, you can jump in our Patreon first tier, Astrano Regeneration. We're going to be right alongside you guys, giving you trainings, giving you guys meditations that you can do to clear up all of these traumas, because everything in the body's interconnected, right? We're just like teaching about each chakra so you can start to understand which one, what they're responsible for, what they're susceptible to, okay? And understanding your full field in the quantum realm so that you can heal properly, fully, and have this like, yeah, overall healing so from these like pains and traumas. So yeah, jump on in there if you want to come and chill with us and heal, because we'd love to have you. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Because we would so appreciate that. We just need the YouTube algorithms to work for us. So we would love it so much if you did that right about now. And we will see you guys on the next one. Love you guys so much.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Speak your truth.